Mortal Kombat 3 by Midway was released into the arcades in 1995. As in previous games, it has a cast of characters that the player chooses from and guides them through a series of battles against other opponents. The game avoids the tournament storyline of its predecessors, as various warriors instead fight against the return of Shao Kahn, who has resurrected his bride, Sindel, and then started an invasion of Earthrealm. To be honest, I don't like this game at all. In fact, I think it's shit, but that's just my opinion. Yours may differ. Whereas Mortal Kombat 2 did actually improve upon the awful Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 3 doesn't improve on the series. Instead, it introduces stupid gimmicks such as a run button, which is pretty useless. There's also the combat codes, an unlockable content system using various symbols that can be entered before two-player matches to achieve certain effects.
Jax wins. Sub-Zero wins. Round 1. Fight.
The first thing you'll notice about the SNES version is just how good the sound is, especially the music. It's pretty clear for the most part, with good stereo separation. The speech is almost there too, although a little muffled. As to be expected, the graphics have taken a hit in the colour department and can at times look messy, but still reasonable overall. I did witness a few stutters while playing through, and the collision detection was questionable at times. In fact, the game as a whole just doesn't feel right.
Shang-Chi fight. Cabal wins.
While switching on the Mega Drive port for the first time, you're greeted with a really crappy looking MK3 logo and awful music. First impressions aren't good. That all changes once you start to play through. The in-game graphics, despite using fewer colours than the SNES, don't look all that bad. Surprisingly, the in-game music is also pretty well done, as are the speech samples. But where this port really shines is in the gameplay department. It's still a crappy game, don't get me wrong, but it does play fast and fluid, unlike the SNES port. Software Creations were behind this awful dung heap of a game. We all know the Master System isn't cut out to host Mortal Kombat 3, but man is this bad. The game is totally unplayable. Collision detection is absolutely everywhere. The input lag is atrocious to the point of not even working at times, and the graphics look as if they are incomplete. If I didn't know better, I'd seriously think this was some crap thrown together by a Chinese pirate game maker than an official release. And yes, I know this was only ever released in Brazil, but it wasn't developed there. While the Game Gear is based upon the Master System, it does have a 12-bit RGB palette with 4096 colours, which is more than the Mega Drive, but it can only display 32 at once. This is quite an improvement over the Master System's 6-bit RGB palette of 64 colours, as we can see from this game. Colour improvements aside, the game is still rubbish. Yes, it is better than the Master System, but now we have a cramped playing area due to the Game Gear's lower resolution. And while this does play faster than the Master System, it still has those input lag issues. Coming from the same developer as the Game Gear and Master System ports is the Game Boy port of Mortal Kombat 3. Like the Sega 8-bit systems, this is also missing many of the characters. However, unlike Sega's 8-bit ports, this is playable. Not good, but just about playable. The CPU AI is cheap beyond belief, mind you, making the game more frustrating than fun. Just like the Game Gear, it only contains 5 stages, plus there's no button link combos, and no finishes outside the fatalities and babalities. It's also missing the blood and the secret character Noob Saibot, which the Game Gear does feature. PlayStation port was criticised when it was released due to its small character sprites, lacking animation, and awful loading during battle when controlling or playing against Shang Tsung. But if the truth be told, it isn't that bad. Sure, it's far from arcade perfect, but it's certainly the best port so far. But is it the best port overall?
Wins.
The Saturn never got a port of plain old Mortal Kombat 3, but it did get a port of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I've decided to add it here since I have no intention of ever covering that game. While Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 does have extra characters and new stages, it's basically the same game as the regular one when you get right down to it. The Saturn port is excellent with its nice animation, large character sprites, and fast gameplay. It's just a shame the announcer's voice seems too quiet. The Gameboy Advance port is actually more like Super Ultra Mega Shite Fest Edition than regular Mortal Kombat 3. Featuring loads of extra characters, you'd think this would be good, but as you can tell from looking at it, it's not. The game is worse than the regular Game Boy version. It's slow, unresponsive, ugly, and a downright insult to anyone who bought it. At least the speech samples are well done.
Scorpion wins. Scorpion wins. Fight!
wasn't too common back in 1996 that we'd see a Windows port of an arcade game being better than one of the consoles. This Windows 95 port of Mortal Kombat 3 is very close to the arcade machine. It's based upon the PlayStation port, or is it the other way around? This Windows 95 version features most if not all the animation, arcade-sized sprites and clear audio. Truly an excellent port. There's also a DOS port which is nowhere near as good. I wish I could show you, but unfortunately I don't have access to it. And let's take a look at all those versions of Mortal Kombat 3 running side by side.